For the best grooming methods for you. Dress all natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be a swagger. The style, class, and luxury. Make our products that are made for you with high quality. Yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Company, give you swagger. Style, class, and luxury. In luxury. Gentlemen, yeah. Company, you swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com. Yo. What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Kung Fu Film Focus for this Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about a classic Shaw Brothers feature called The Kung Fu Instructor. Yeah. The Kung Fu Instructor. The film was made in 1979, starring the legendary Tai Lung in the title role. Tai Lung is a martial arts film star, action film star from the 70s, one of the major players in Shaw Studios after Jimmy Wong Yu broke his contract with the Shaws. They sought out leading men, and instead of trying to invest and build up one particular star, they created a stable of stars. But Tai Lung stood out because he appeared to be the most versatile, physically capable actor amongst the ranks. Born in 1946, this gentleman came into the industry, starting off in small roles, but immediately jumped into leads for his handsome looks and his martial prowess. A practitioner of Wing Chun Kung Fu, Tai Lung found himself a favorite of in-house Shaw choreographer Tongai, and he, along with David Chang Tawai, became two of the studio's biggest stars during the early 70s as they played in features opposite of what Golden Harvest was doing with the launch of Bruce Lee films. Shaw Brothers were noted to make films that covered a variety of genre, but as the Kung Fu film craze picked up, actors like Tai Lung got their chance to cut their teeth. You know, for he could have been a guy who could have gone international, probably if it were not for the strict contracts that the Shaw Studios put out with their actors and actresses. Tai Lung did play in a crossover film They Call Him Mr. Shatter, in which that was a film produced in-house with Shaw's, but in conjunction with the studio the studio that produced a lot of the Hammer films, which were starring the likes of Peter Cushing. You know, in 1974, They Call Him Mr. Shatter starred American actor Stuart Whitman, and though Shaw's produced this film, it wasn't a big success as a crossover, but Tai Lung did have an English-speaking role here, and he was joined by Lily Lee and Peter Cushing. I like this film because it was so 70-ish, you know, and it was released in 1980, but the Kung Fu Instructor, the film that we're talking about this evening, was another one of those films that Tai Lung starred in, and his presence was tremendous. This film borrows a lot from Kurosawa's Yojimbo and Sergio Leone's A Fistful of Dollars. Now, Fistful of Dollars borrowed from Yojimbo, which came first, and here it is, Shaw Brothers were doing their take on the Lone Star hero who was quite adept at what he could do. In the Yojimbo film, it was swordplay. In Fistful of Dollars, it was gunplay. And in this film, it is kung fu and the Shaolin pole style. So for each region of the world, they found a way to tell the story of this particular hero, where Tai Lung plays a kung fu instructor in a village that is divided by bad guys, warring factions, and even down to a road in the town dividing one side from the other. And if one dare cross the sides, you find yourself in peril. If not losing a limb, maybe your life. And somewhere within all of this, Tai Lung's Kung Fu instructor, known as Wang Yang, is oblivious to what goes on in the town, and he's respected as a Kung Fu instructor. And so it's kind of like hands off when it comes down to him. But he gets involved when he goes to save a man who was being attacked during the time of this conflict during the town. And the bad guys want to enlist his services to teach them kung fu so they can be even more adept at beating up on their rivals. And the rivals, who are always calling for a truce, they would like to enlist the services of Wang Yang because they just want to be able to protect themselves. So here he is, a man in the middle of all of this conflict. And the story goes from there. What I liked about this film was that even though it borrowed heavily from the films that I mentioned, Fistful of Dollars and Yojimbo, in its own way as a kung fu film, it really works because you have an easy explanation as to why there's so much fighting. See, kung fu films need to have a why. Why are they fighting? Why are they mixing it up? And this film delivers that and then some. The one thing about the Kung Fu Instructor is Tai Lung, who had been making kung fu films with Shaws for a number of years, by this time he had put on a little bit of weight, so he kind of fit the role of an instructor. There's an opening title sequence where you see him practicing the Shaolin pose, but he's clean shaven and you can see the roundness in his face. So they put this beard on him, it's like a goatee and mustache, and it gives him a certain kind of a look, like a General Yang type of thing, where his physical presence, because he had put on a little weight, and that goatee kind of made him a more threatening, respectable character. The villains in the town spare no expense at trying to bring him to destruction after he refuses to assist them by training them as his students. So leading the cast is Tai Lung and Ku Feng, who is the main baddie of the film. Ku Feng is playing Ming Da, who is leading that faction against the others who he wants to bring down, and he wants to do it at any cost, including killing. Tai Lung's character vows against killing, but they waste no time trying to frame him for rape and other type of scenarios that they were just very villainous. But he was such an upright man. He believed in himself to the degree that even if the law were trying to take him down on these false charges, he was willing to turn himself in. And then you have the young actor Young Wang Yu, who ends up becoming the main pupil of Wang Yang, and he plays a character called Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping studies the Kung Fu masters' techniques and everything, trying to practice them on his own as he peers through the bushes to watch Tai Lung teaching Zhao Ping, Meng Da's students. There's a lot of conflict going on because if you remember in Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood arrives in the town. There's one faction on one side of the town that are bad guys, and then there's another faction on the other side of town, and he's kind of caught up in the middle. And so he allows himself to become a hired hand to help fend off the other bad guys, but by both parties. In this film, Tai Lung doesn't want to be a part of both parties, but he could see the difference between the upright guys and the true baddies. But it's the true baddies who first enlist his services to train them. And you know what's really weird? They're such baddies that when he begins to train them, they're still taking every opportunity that they can to attack him and, you know, try to prove that his kung fu really isn't as good as rumored. They're just some real bad, nasty dudes. But that's what makes for good kung fu film action, when you have the bad guys doing their thing. So that's how this film starts out. It's really a lot of fun. Got a couple images I'll put up here on the screen for you with Tai Lung doing his thing. And these guys, they were just, you know, every chance they got, they would try to attack him and, you know, just challenge his legendary skill set. They were a bunch of no-gooders, man, and eventually they end up getting, you know, their just due. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, see who we got in the building here. We got Derek Gaines, the legend, out there. What's good with you, Derek? NBA D Nice in the building. Universal Truth is back with us this evening. Got a few more people out there that decided that they didn't want to write in the chat. It's okay. The Homer Simpson syndrome be amongst you, huh? Yeah. But this film, like I said, was choreographed by veteran martial arts director and in-house choreographer for Shaw Brothers Studios, Tong Gai. And he has presided over so many films where he was the action choreographer. But he always seemed to show Tai Lung in a favorable light. With the skill set that he had, being well versed in Wing Chun, his hand-to-hand combat fighting, and his pole style, Shaolin pole style, which is also a part of Wing Chun, Tai Lung was able to execute the choreography very well. Excuse me. Had to take a drink of water. Got a little cough there. Yeah. So, if you've had a chance to see this film, you got Derek Gaines, NBA D Nice, Universal Truth out there. You three brothers, have either of you seen this film on your own? If you have, put a 1 in the chat if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. It's available on DVD, Blu-ray. In fact, the Blu-ray version of it was just recently released by 88 Films. I got a chance to get my hands on a copy, and it looks excellent with the remastering. The old VHS that I had, it was so blurry and everything that the Blu-ray makes it look like a totally different film. Derek Gaines says he hasn't seen it. But you are familiar with Tai Lung, right? You're familiar with him, seen him in films before. He's definitely one that you will want to check out in this movie. You guys got to forgive me this evening. I got a little bit of a cough. I drank some water earlier, and it went down the wrong pipe, and it's been irritating my throat ever since and making me cough, so I apologize for that. Universal says he hasn't seen it either. Derek Gaines says, Stormy, your collection should be in the Library of Congress. Hey man, I have a modest collection, but when you love the Kung Fu films like I do, you know, you find yourself visiting features that you may not have seen initially, and you go back because you enjoy the genre, and then you find that you like certain individuals who starred in films, and there may be productions that you didn't see them in, and you go for that, and you just keep going and keep going. And that's what I've done over the years. My initial involvement with Kung Fu films had always been rather minuscule. Bruce Lee, and then it went beyond Bruce Lee to guys like Jimmy Wang Yu. Then, of course, when Jackie Chan came into prominence, and of course the Shaw Brothers guys. Now remember, the Shaw Brothers guys went from being a one-man show of Jimmy Wang Yu to David Chang and Tai Lung, excuse me. Then Chen Kwai Tai joined them, then was on his own, and then Alexander Fuxing and Chi Kwa Chung. Those guys came along. And then, of course, a little later came the Five Venoms and the guys who were associated with the Venom mob. So there was, over a course of 10 years, through Golden Harvest Studios and Shaw Brothers Studios, there was a swell of Kung Fu film stars. And that's not even counting the guys from the independent films like Tien Ping, you got Tan Tao Lang, John Lau, Wang Ching Lee, Bruce Liang Xiaolong. So many guys, right? The films just kept coming. And I was there for most of it. Just enjoyed it, man. The genre is one hell of a genre. But yeah, these films, and now that a lot of the actors have gotten old, seniors, some have passed on, it's just amazing the legacy of what they left us with this type of enjoyment. The pleasure that we had watching these films, just tremendous. Derek Gaines is asking, the Shaw Brothers, were they responsible for The Matrix? No, they had absolutely nothing to do with The Matrix. The Matrix was Warner Brothers, and they went to Hong Kong to get some talent to produce the action. Get some action for the Matrix films, and they wanted some of that new Hong Kong wire work and dynamic action choreography that blended hard, tough edge action mixed in with martial arts. So they hired the legendary Yuen Wo Ping and his team of stuntmen to do the choreography, of the Matrix films. And those films are to this day legendary as a result of Wu Ping's participation. And he took what he learned with the special effects and everything mixed in with the action back to Hong Kong and began to make some even more enthralling action scenes after learning how he can use not only the wire work that they had already used, but how the American film companies were incorporating certain graphics of CGI and different things to enhance action or to make something look even more polished. So that just made them even better with the films that they produced over in Hong Kong. The one thing I want to get back to Tai Lung about he as an action film star, he was probably the best actor, martial artist in Shaw Brothers history. I mean, the man could take on any kind of role. He could play a wimp, he could play a hero, he could play a villain, he could play a shyster. Tai Lung was just an amazing performer. And if you ever saw John Woo's A Better Tomorrow, he plays in there with Leslie Cheung and Chow Yun-fat. Great film, historical film with John Woo, that the director, that incorporated what we now know as gun fu, where they had the shootouts and everything. A Better Tomorrow produced 2 sequels. Outstanding films, known for Tai Lung's performance in there along with Leslie Cheung. great films. If you haven't had a chance to check those out, and those aren't even kung fu films, like I said, gun fu, where they use guns and has shoot 'em outs in modern day settings. Crime thriller type deal. Excellent action. Salute to my brother, the Jab Jamboree out there. What's going on with you, Ack? Good to see you out there this evening, man. Ack, have you ever seen this Shaw Brother production from 1979? It's called The Kung Fu Instructor, starring Tai Lung, veteran Shaw Brother actor, one of my favorite actors from the genre. Just an amazing guy. His martial prowess is on display in this film. There's a great sequence where the villains who hire him as their instructor, they set up this series of benches all together, and they tell him in order to prove his kung fu prowess, there's a chair that they sat in the yard at the end of these benches, and if he can cross those benches, he can sit in there and be their teacher. Well, not one to turn down the challenge. These benches were all twisted and turned. If you ever watch Jackie Chan films, the bench is usually a prop in one of his films. He usually fights with it and everything. Well, they had a whole bunch of these benches all leaning on each other and stacked up and everything, and he had to walk across them to get to that chair to sit in to be the teacher, right? Great little sequence where he shows his kung fu balance, where he jumps on top of the benches and starts stepping around over them, and they're all watching him and they're waiting on him to fall, you know, so they can make a mockery of him. But he made it through, and he sat down in the chair, and then they were still disrespectful to him. So it's like they, you know, talking stuff to him. So he got up and was like, I'm leaving, you know, and they was like, no, Seafood, stay, you know, they try to keep him. But like I said, those guys were a bunch of bums, man. They were some straight up bums. They're a lot like the guys of today, huh? Some of these boxing fans out here, and some of these guys, it's like they could do good, they could be right, and they all that, but they go the wrong way on purpose, just for the sake of going the wrong way, huh? And then they end up in the place with the bars surrounding them, or the place where they put the dirt on top of you, huh? Yeah! Axe says, no, but I will watch it tonight. Yeah, the Kung Fu Instructor is pretty darn good. And it's been remastered now, so you should be able to see a very good version of it. You know, like I said, my Blu-ray that I got, it's outstanding. An amazing remaster of a film that didn't look good on VHS at all. I saw it, looked like it had been recorded 10 times over. You know how you could have the original copy, then you make a dub of it, then you make a dub of the dub, and the dub of the dub. If you guys remember VHS, some of you don't because you're too young, but in my day, that was one of the first formats for home video, VHS, or beta for some people. And man, those dub of a dubs, they got to be where you could only basically see the outline of the people. You didn't see the details in their faces or nothing. This is crazy. But it's amazing now with what they do with remastering these Kung Fu films. But yeah, also in this film, Tai Lung and Wang Yu and Ku Feng, they are joined by the actress Angie Chu. Angie Chu, she plays a character in here. She was in the film business from like 1976 to 2020. And even though she was in this Shaw Brothers film, she wasn't in a lot of the Kung Fu films, but she was in some action films, you know. And she was in another film called Hero Shed No Tears, and that was a film with Alexander Fushing before he passed away. She was in The Challenger with David Chang Tawa, and there was a couple other films that she did. But she was a striking, beautiful young lady that she was in there, but she wasn't like highly featured for whatever reason. I don't know her backstory too much. She may have been one of those actresses who may have turned down a lot of roles. Yeah. The Jab Jamboree says, Stormy, is the story good in this movie? Yes, it is. See, you came in a little late, Act. That's why you gotta, grab you a chair near the back of the class, coming in late, because I gave the synopsis of this by saying this is Shaw Brothers' take on A Fistful of Dollars, or Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, where you have the lone hero who comes to town and you got two factions warring against each other and he's caught in the middle, right? In Yojimbo, it was about the sword play. In Fistful of Dollars, it was about the gun play. In this film, it's about the kung fu. And so Tai Lung is playing a kung fu master whom both of those factions who are warring against each other are trying to enlist his services to teach their men kung fu so they can fight against their enemies. And so he wants to remain neutral to this all. And so Young Wang Yu ends up becoming his real solid student because he has more principles. He has a greater deal of respect for Tai Lung's character Wang Yang, and he just grows on Tai Lung's character because he shows some martial spirit. So yeah, it is a good story. It is. It's not a bullcrap story or whatever. And you have to understand that most films, I won't say all, but most films where Tai Lung played the lead are typically good kung fu films. Tai Lung was one of the best, if not the best, Hong Kong martial arts leading man and martial arts action star, because not only could he fight on film, but his acting ability was off the charts too. One of my favorite roles of his is Dynasty of Blood, or The Bloody Avengers. That film right there, where Tai Lung plays a general who comes up with some bandits and they begin to grow in power and take over provinces and stuff, and then he goes away because he is very ambitious. He wants to become a general in an army and lead people, and when he comes back, he wants to steal his blood brother's girlfriend, and he falls in love with her. She falls in love with him. That's why it's called Dynasty of Blood, because when the one brother, David Chang, finds out that the sister and Tai Lung's character had an affair, he wants to kill him, because I can't tell the whole story, because if I do, it ruins the viewing of it. But Dynasty of Blood with Tai Lung and David Chang Tai and Chen Kwa Tai, a great kung fu classic, man. Great kung fu classic. And if you ain't seen that one, what are you waiting for? Man, there's some great movies out there, you guys. You gotta check them out. I can't watch them all by myself, but I will if I got to, because I ain't gonna be waiting on you, huh? No. And for those of you who may be wondering, this is not beer, but root beer, huh? IBC root beer. What does it say? IBC root beer. See, because some of y'all is some alcoholics out there. But Stormy ain't nowhere near that, huh? I'm sober and clean, huh? Two things you can't say. Because, look at your feet. See Stormy fingernails? They clean, huh? They don't look like they got boo-boo under them, huh? Like some of y'all. You running around here. That's why you can't hit my like button, because you got too much boo-boo on your fingertips and you get it all over the keyboards, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Derek Gaines says beta, VHS, and Laserdisc. Yeah, when films came out on Laserdisc, I was kind of late to Laserdisc. But I'm going to tell you something. I didn't realize they put so many Kung Fu films on Laserdisc. If you go on the internet and you are a Laserdisc owner, a Laserdisc player owner, you can find Kung Fu films. And they look much better than DVD. But it's like, you know, I mean, they look much better than VHS. But by the time I got hip to that, DVD was coming on. But yeah, and I couldn't afford a Laserdisc player at the time. Those things were a little bit too expensive for my budget. You know, Stormy B, man, you know, he came up the hard way, huh? I didn't break in somebody's basement and try to steal their Laserdisc player, or ride in the back seat of a car who's somebody who's driving to another neighborhood to go break into somebody's place to steal their Laserdisc player. I was just working hard, you know, trying to save my coins. And then I saw some of the dudes I used to know, going bye-bye, And when I say going bye-bye, that's, you know, to those two places I mentioned earlier, The place with the bars that surround you, or that place where they put dirt on top of you. Yeah! Derek Gaines says, my uncle had one and a beta. We had the VHS. Y'all remember the old VHS players where you open it and it opens at the top of the player? Them big ass tapes that go in there. It was like having an 8-track in the house, huh? Yeah, man. So yeah, if you watch this, man, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. Good kung fu in here too. The fight scenes are very good, very entertaining, huh? A lot of action in here, a lot of fighting in here. And Ku Feng, who's pictured right here above me, that dude he's one of the best villains of all time in Shaw Brothers. When he plays these bad guys and he get that little look on his face, because he be looking like it's like he just had those evil eyes. You know what I mean? Derek Gaines says, yep, I'm old, Stormy. I turned 55 on the 1st. Yeah, well, you know, I'm 60 now, bro. You know, mine was the 10th, And so now I've got my wisdom beard I'm growing out, you know, because, you know, we old masters got to be able to laugh and rub our beard like this. Kill him. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Anybody have questions about this film? I gave you the premise, and like I said, Fistful of Dollars or Yojimbo, those films, this is basically a remake of that. So if you've seen either of those films, you kind of know what the story is going to be, but just from a Eastern side mixed in with Kung Fu. Yeah. Let me see here. See, it says we have over 20-something views, but nobody wants to write in the chat except for my real strong brothers here. You know, you guys are really, I don't know what to say about you guys, man. There again says I'll have to order it. I was trying to think if there's a sequel to the Kung Fu Instructor. There's not a sequel to this, but there is a sequel to the Opium and the Kung Fu Master. I think there's a sequel to that. There's a sequel to that, but we'll have to see. It's like yeah. But Tai Lung has been in so many great Kung Fu films that it is, I can't even tell you about them all in one show. It's like that man has been in a lot of great films. Great films. Yeah. And then also in this film, you'll see a lot of familiar faces that you've seen in many other Kung Fu films. I mean, I just put a few of the cast up here so you could see them running alongside of the movie poster there. But there's guys in this film that you could remember from other Kung Fu films. I'm talking about guys like Chong Tao, Yuen Wah, you know what I'm saying, Lam Chai Tai, just tons of guys. Dick Wei, Bruce Tong, just tons of guys that Chan Shan, there's a lot of these guys, you have seen them in other Kung Fu films. Ak is asking, where would you rate this on your list? Well, my list is kind of, my list is small, Ak. But on a scale of Kung Fu films, I would rate this about a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. 7.5 to 8 out of 10. That's how I would rate this film. Put it like this. Jackie Chan's Drunken Master is a 10. Jackie Chan's Snake in the Eagle's Shadow is like a 9. So if this is a 7.5 or 8, it's just behind those. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like how I would rate those films. Now, Blood Brothers, or Dynasty of Blood, Chinese Vengeance, is also known as. That film, to me, is a 9.9 or a 10. Tai Lung's acting in there is excellent, which makes it like 10 alone by his performance. Yeah. So, any other questions on this one, the Kung Fu Instructor? You know, YouTube is a trip. They be trying to come at you for showing film clips and stuff like that, so I can't show you guys no footage of the movie. Okay, good question there, Universal. It's a serious film with serious overtures, but there are a couple of comedy, moments in the film simply to break up that seriousness. And typically, when you see young Wang Yu in there, he's a guy who, with the Shaw Brothers, had brought comedy. He was being kind of brought along like a actor who could fill that void for comedy like Jackie Chan did. But he wasn't as talented aerobically with his skills. But young Wang Yu, he was successful in some of his films, but he just didn't have certain things. I think that Fu Xing could have blown them all out of the water, but Shaw wouldn't let him leave the company. Several independent film companies and an American company wanted to work with Fu Xing, and Run Shaw would not let him out of his contract. Wouldn't let him out. Derek Gaines says, I found it on Amazon. I will watch it tonight. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Amazon Prime has quite a few of the Shaw Brothers films, but not all of them, but they have a few of them. Ak, you asking how long is the film? I think the running time on this is like 140, I want to say 144 minutes, something like that. 144 minutes, 145 minutes, something like that. Yeah. So it's, pretty darn good, man. Pretty good movie. But the way they portray those two gangs, one of those gangs, you just want to see them get theirs because they're a bunch of jerks, man. Even though the seafood is treating them with respect and everything, they got no respect for the seafood. And you just kind of want to see those guys catch it, You just want to see them catch it. So yeah, but I rate this film as very much a must see. The kung fu action in it, I would say the kung fu action is probably a 7 out of 10. but an overall enjoyable experience. Definitely an enjoyable experience for the Kung Fu instructor. Well, Tai Lung he's a proponent of the Shaolin pole style act. That's what he's using in there. Ku Feng, who's the main villain, he's doing something with the he's got the double swords, like the butterfly swords. And there's also a little appearance in there by Johnny Wang Long Wei, as he plays a guy that comes into town that's trying to take down the teacher, the Kung Fu instructor, but he gets his head handed to him. So that's, you know, that was pretty much, it was like not a cameo, but he had a small role in the film. Johnny Wang Long Wei. Yeah. So there you go. Yep. But yeah, you guys gotta learn to get your foo on. You come around these parts, get your foo on. Salute to Eric Jordan coming in real late, you know, F+, get to the back of the class, huh? Coming in real late, huh? Thinking he just gonna slide in and, you know, Stormy be like, don't see it, you know. But I'm watching everything. You know. 'Cause I mean, it don't take all day to be over there on Pornhub and come over here and give Stormy a view, and you could go back to your Pornhub, huh? You come in at the end of the show, you might as well not come in at all, huh? What's that all about? Huh? Like, keep telling you guys, man, it's a choice, huh? It's a choice. Yeah, coming in here, man. But I can tell you what kind of stuff that is. That foolishness right there.
Here we come, walk down the street, we get the funniest one.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Coming in here all late. And then don't be coming with no excuses, huh? When you coming in here, well, Stormy, you see, you know, I had to put, you know, the Jello pudding pops in the freezer because they was melting. I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, right. Uh-huh. Yeah. Look at Ack is that. Ack, man, listen. They don't fight very well. That's why they're trying to get the Kung Fu teacher to teach them. But the leader that's played by Ku Feng, he knows Kung Fu, but he wants to really run the damn Kung Fu instructor out of town. That's why he wanted him to teach his students or whatever, because his gang, so they could run him out of town. If you saw Fistful of Dollars, if you saw Yojimbo, it's the same premise, bro. You know? Yeah. Yeah. And you asking all them questions like that is like as you either gonna watch it or you ain't. You can take Stormy's recommendation, it's worth watching, or you don't. And then if you miss out on it, that's you just missed out on it. Cause I done been on here trying to talk, trying to get you guys, look into something. I can't even get the full support. Everybody ain't even hitting my like button. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready to get on up out of here, but first I gotta hear from my man, the Focus Ball, because the Focus Ball is somebody that's a sponsor for Stormy B Man, huh? Yeah, Focus Ball.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improve footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah. Better get you some of that merchandise, man, while you can. That's what's up. Get you some merchandise. But this brings us to the end of another Kung Fu Film Focus. A great opportunity to talk about a classic film, The Kung Fu Instructor, starring the great Tai Lung in the lead role. I was asked, is this story good? I was asked, is the film, worth checking out? Definitely. I highly recommend it, but you have to check it out for yourself. Everyone's taste in Kung Fu films can be different. But this is a film that I have on VHS, DVD, and now Blu-ray. So to have 3 different copies and versions of it means that I must like it enough, you know what I mean, to keep it in the collection. So, but we're at the end of another Kung Fu Film Focus. I thank everybody that came out and showed a little support here. Not much, but a little bit. I appreciate that. But we'll be back in the future with some more. And hey, get a chance to talk about it, huh? But I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody.